Let there be snow, let there be snow. This kind of weather brings people together so friendships can grow. Ooh, let there be snow. I am stupid. Howdy ho, everybody. Same Game Freak here. Here to bring you another relationship type video. I'm gonna stop this accent before I piss off other Southerners. I am Southerner too, guys. Don't shoot me. I know I'm black. Don't shoot me. I'm a Southerner. I'm from the South. I'm in the Georgia area. Oh, and yes, we're gonna talk about the bullshit in the relationship cycle that people complain about certain aspects of, but don't realize it's a cycle in itself. So let's talk about this cycle and talk about the bullshit that it resides in this cycle. So the major part of this cycle that gets bitched about, that people don't realize that is actually a part of the cycle, would be, why is it that men, for some reason, feel that they can talk any type of way to a woman? Well, it's not that they feel like it. They know they can, and they know the worst they'll get is a no. Rejection isn't that big of a deal to most guys in the cycle. And not every guy, not every girl's in the cycle, but I'm going to talk about the ones who are so they understand they're part of the problem. Both sides are part of the problem. So here's the situation that starts. As a child, your young man grows up. Now in society, we peer pressure the fuck out of guys to get laid all the goddamn time. Versus women who we say to stay, clean and fucking pretty much virgins all the goddamn time. But because the guys are pressured, the guys end up by their male peers or by society in general, they then pressure the females to have sex, and the ones that give in have now contributed to the cycle. Now, but the unfortunate problem is that you two are now having sex in a relationship that isn't really mature to anything real yet. So now your relationship is more based on sex than anything else. This creates a problem because more than likely you two are going to break up because of emotional and personal differences. Meaning the other part of the relationship that you guys were ignoring because it was all about getting the sex. Because whoever told the guy that, the biggest part about the relationship was sex, didn't explain anything else, or love for that matter, so it pretty much started with the sex and ended with the sex. But now the guy has a very messed up perception of relationships, and he will proceed to other women and try the same tactics he tried to get the first girl. And they will work, and then he'll pressure them about the sex, and he still won't get it, but now he's become addicted to sex. The women who have then opened themselves up to the guy have kind of created their own rule in themselves. It's, well, he's the one I care about. Because, once again, she hasn't matured either. She doesn't understand the concept of love. She's bullshitting. They're both bullshitting. They just don't realize that they're bullshitting. They realize after the fact. So her fucking rule is now, well, unless I really feel or I care about the guy, then we'll have sex. But the problem is you consistently did that with like multiple boyfriends, and now it's just turned into, after the first of 2 dates, well, fuck. It's like your standards keep deteriorating over time because you keep making similar mistakes. Not understanding that sex in itself has become the problem, as if the sex is a requirement. Because you've been pressured so much, your way of thinking has been flawed. You've been ruined in that sense. The guy, on the other hand, has now conquested a whole bunch of chicks with sex, but like the relationships are already over. So now, as an adult, and as an adult male and female, you have a guy who's pretty much gotten all his current relationships through sex. Like, sex is kind of his be-all, end-all. That's his goal. So now he's become a little bit wiser. So he's understanding that the sex isn't everything. But the problem now is that he doesn't really know how to approach girls the right way. Because every way he's been doing before, it was about the sex. And so now he tries it the right way and realizes how rough the right way is. The right way is always the rougher road of the two. Why? Because the right way requires way more effort from you, and it can still lead to the same result of a no, a yes, or a no. Meaning you're putting in a fuck ton of work to approach them the right way, but unfortunately you've already that doesn't necessarily mean your chances aren't any better. So realistically, the guy makes a logical decision. Well, it's like, no matter what I do, the results will be either a yes or a no. It's not like acting like the nice guy is going to necessarily help me in the situation. It's not like changing up my strategy is going to help me. So he proceeds to just continue on his old normal shit. Why? Because it's worked in the past, and there's no incentive for him to change. Especially because, oh, but you know, some girls don't, you know, have sex with a dude so early. Yeah, some girls, not all girls, and it's the all of them or the other part that do that fucks the whole thing up. Because the girls that do are the ones he's aiming for at this point. He's just kind of like, you wanna fuck? No. 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 You wanna fuck? Yes. All right. And everyone and all the no's don't mean shit to him now because he takes it in stride. Versus girls who become a lot more emotionally damaged and broken through all these fucked up relationships, and now proceed to try to get into a man's genes. But because her mind has also been warped by this previous situation, she now thinks that sex is an integral part of the relationship. And the guy, and so she's based everything around herself around getting the guy laid, because now it's turned into sex is important and sex sells. So if I want to promote myself to the guy, I gotta look like the type of chicks that he's dating. Well, the types of chicks that he's dating at this point are chicks that don't give a fuck. That's why they'll fuck you in the middle of a club or fuck you in the back of a car seat or some shit. They don't care because all they're about is the sex. I'm not saying necessarily that they're horrible. The problem is we've created a cycle because then the mothers grew up. Because now you have these girls who eventually will become mothers, whether it probably will be from the whole obvious unexpected pregnancy that their religious reasons are the reason why they don't get rid of the baby or some dumb shit like that. And then they have a daughter or a son who is now raised in a similar environment, which is with usually a single mother or a family that seems really fucked up, except for when the family's having sex, and the people that they're around are probably in the same mentality. Because now you have a guy who just doesn't give a fuck because he knows eventually somebody's going to say yes. And you have the girl who's already been emotionally fucked up, so she can't really approach a situation logically anymore. Now you have this bullshit ass cycle going around where where you got people you got everyone you got your peers telling you a whole bunch of bullshit to the guys anyway, that you got to have sex. You proceed to have sex and you pretty much spend the entirety of your childhood becoming addicted to sex and learning a false idea of what relationships are supposed to be about. Then you get older and you proceed to figure out the right way, but you don't have any incentive to use the right way, so you proceed to keep using the old way, and you just keep going through fucking girls. Eventually, you might get to a point where you've learned enough to realize that even though the nice guy way doesn't necessarily make the whole sex process easier, you aren't as interested in sex anymore. From a girl's perspective, you were raised to always be, respectful and keep your virginity. But you were peer pressured by a lot of guys to fuck. And then your standards kind of kept getting lower and lower as time went on because the fucking became way more popular, especially because that's the part that's publicized all the time. For society likes to push the shit out of fucking, out of sex and fucking. And girls think the only way to attract a guy is to be sexually active, or at least ready to fuck. So you have a lot of teenage girls who are now in ready to fuck mode. You have a whole bunch of teenage guys who are expected to fuck, so they start fucking the ready to fuck girls. The girls are now emotionally confused and better because you're both still too damn young and you don't understand what love or relationships are. So you're both fucking up. And now you have these generation of girls who act like fucking hoes because everything in their life up until recently has told them that they need to look like and act like hoes to get any real relationships, even though at this point they've never fucking been in one. And the guys are just ready to fuck, so when they see a real woman that's worth really putting in some time and effort, they don't know how to fucking respond to that. They've never been fucking exposed to that type of shit. So they're just kind of like, well, we're going to ask her if she's going to fuck because they already know the nice guy or the normal method or the respectful method doesn't fucking really produce any different results because they've never been with a real woman before. They don't know how it feels. And I feel like that's what it is. You have a lot of thug-ass niggas that don't really learn the lesson until they're with a girl who's worth a damn, and then they have to lose her to understand what the fuck the problem is. Same thing with the girls, but the situation with that is you got to find someone who has low enough standards who would do that. There is no smart girl There is no smart, respectful woman who is willing to date a thug nigga unless she sees something that she can think that she thinks he's worth a damn. She has to at least think you're worth the damn time and effort. Same thing from the girl side. The guy has to think you're worth the damn time and effort. And not, hey, maybe he likes to fuck, but he also wants a real relationship. So that might work out for you, but you know, it's all a fucking learning experience, and you can all blame society for pushing those ideas and then creating sheep to further push the ideas when they're not pushing them anymore. So it's like sex sells, and then people will fucking sit there and go, why do we hold these rappers to high regard? They're just entertainers. Because they push and they promote these ideas and don't give any context, and the niggas, and what makes it worse is because they're the popular opinion, niggas will start following that purely based on it being the fucking popular opinion, which then creates the stupid ass situation of niggas who think they gotta fuck and gotta be expensive and pretty much gotta look like famous rappers, and you know, then you got the girls who feel like they need to be the video hoes. It's a fucking nasty ass cycle that's perpetuated by dumb niggas promoting the same dumb shit, and you are the generation who gets caught in it. Which is a fucking shame, but that's kind of how the shit works. And the only thing that can really help you is if you're willing to open your mind a little bit and understand where the fuck people are coming from when they say they don't want hoes. They don't want thugs. They want husbands and wives. But our generation has proved we don't give a fuck about that. So the likelihood of anything changing is very slim. But at least you now understand the general idea of why this shit happens. And now you can blame your Lil Waynes and your Beyoncés and your Rihannas or whatever the fuck you want to blame. Or your Chris Breezes or whatever. So yay! The slow decline of the human race. I mean, we're gonna go down anyway, but you know, some people like to look cool when they're going down with the ship versus the guy who's kicking and screaming and whining, going, I don't want to die. We're just gonna be the I don't want to die guy. Anyways, this is the Insane Game Freak. That's the game. Play to win. And I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.